Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Mr. Asadin, and I appreciate your support and guidance as usual. And also, I would like to welcome our attendees who are also our potential students because they have accomplished the first step, which is to cultivate interest in our program and register for today's session and being with us today. And finally, I would like to thank my colleague, one of our students, and also one of our colleagues in the university, College of Islamic Studies, there, Mrs. Sabika Shaban, who is also co-host today. And I'm really grateful to her. Maybe I will actually leave the difficult questions to her and I'll get the easy ones. So once again, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are, which city you are located in, it doesn't really matter because you have an interest on global issues. And Master of Arts in Islam and Global Affairs is a program approaching global affairs from the perspective of Islam and try to operationalize many challenges, problems, and turbulences that the world in a global fashion has been going through and come up with solutions, new ideas, new mindsets that are applicable in real life. So on that front, maybe the first point I should make here is that our program is not only interdisciplinary, but also applied. So whatever you learn, you will have a chance to apply them in real life. So if I were to start, this is myself, and you see a different version of me right now because I'm not I'm at home and we are actually working remotely. But if you see me in the school, you'll see me with a different outfit. Our program has is like other programs. It's a 36 credit hour and entirely, and 9 credits are coming from 3 courses, which are Introduction to Islam and Global Affairs, Islamic Worldview, Research Methods. We have 3 core courses in addition to the foundation courses: Global Inequalities, Islam, Conflict Transformation and Peace Building, Globalization and Faith-Based Development. And then you have a chance to choose one of the specialization courses, either Islam and Global Governance or Humanitarian Action in the Muslim World. And there is another specialization course you don't get to choose, but we get to choose collectively, in the sense that it's a special topics in Islam and Global Affairs. And as the name represents and reveals the idea of the course, it's a special topics course, which means that the content will change every year, depending on the hot issues of that time period. For instance, last year, when we offered this special topics course, we wanted to focus on role of public diplomacy and especially faith-based diplomacy. This year, we focused more on COVID-19 and the response of faith-based communities. And often this course is not taught by one professor, but multiple professors teaching modules inside of the course. We have a component called iLab. Perhaps this component is pretty much the kind of the most famous and the flagship component of the program, which includes a full 3 credit hour course and a field work sponsored by our program, only eligible to students who establish a valid, a compelling theory of change, which is a proposal, a full-fledged proposal before the field work. Of course, for the cohort we admitted in 2019, unfortunately, their iLab component has been affected because of the restrictions imposed globally on travel related issues. And but the cohort before, as I will show you like now in a few minutes, they had a chance to conduct their iLabs and integrative labs successfully. But again, depending on how compelling and how convincing their iLab proposals are. iLab is a very unique feature of our program. And if you look for a similar version, perhaps University of Notre Dame in South Bend in Chicago, it might be actually, it's an inspiration to us. We are officially partners, and Keough School of Global Affairs is pretty much like our sister organization. And then we have a 9-credit-hour thesis component. And of course, I can share with you details in the future. This is just like a visual representation of what I was just mentioning to you. And these are some examples of iLabs of some of our students. For every iLab, we create interesting visuals that are more in the form of summaries. And again, iLab is like a reflection of design thinking, interdisciplinary inquiry, and how to turn ideas into tangible processes. And in other words, iLab is a process to think analytically in a logic model. You identify certain inputs, you create activities, you come up with some outputs, and then you envision short, medium, and long-term outcomes based on the process. It includes a lot of visualizations, and this is one of the most important features of our program, that in addition to academic writing papers, articles, review reflections, code analysis, or all the kind of the conventional means and mechanisms of academic inquiry that you would see in traditional programs, we are trying to disrupt education in such a fashion that these students think outside of the box. And I know this phrase outside of the box is a kind of like, it's becoming like a cliche. Maybe a new version of it should be just forget about the box at all. There's no box. So think freely, think in a way that makes impact. Perhaps that's the bottom line of our program. As you can see on the screen, we have students who are working on education-related issues in refugee camps, or gender-based discrimination or marginalization in Morocco, armed conflict in Yemen, or educational opportunities for refugee children in post-conflict or conflict settings. Muslim minorities in Georgia, or patriarchy and gender-based violence in Pakistan. This specific iLab, I wanted to bring it to your attention. The reason is three students who conducted this iLab, dear Alina Zaman, who recently graduated from our program, and 2 other colleagues, not only they conducted their iLab in Pakistan with the support of Islamic Relief Pakistan, but they also came back to Doha with fabulous ideas in turning their iLab into a social enterprise, which we supported highly. And now today, their idea became like an adventure for them to further it into like a project, and which is now incubated in Qatar Technology Parks Incubation Center. This is supposed to be a video, but for some reason it's not functioning. The video and the company is called Katra, and the company, the social enterprise, is about helping underprivileged artisans and artists in Pakistan, in other parts of the world, especially in refugee camps, to sell their products in their online platform. This is one option. So I think the bottom line is concrete impact, not only locally, but also beyond your local community. And if you go to Google and if you look for Katra, I think you can also see some examples. Some of our students publish high quality academic articles with us. You can see one of our students published a journal article in 2019. Another of our students worked with an NGO in Lebanon, and she came up with this amazing report. Some of our students bring their strong background. This is actually one of our students who previously studied in Virginia Commonwealth University interior design, and she used her skills to turn her iLab into a comic. Some of our students, this is one example of their iLab. This is more about how to approach a problem and design a solution and experiment the solution in different ways. Some of our students, we do actually Lego series play sessions, and they connect our models with their course material. You see one of them, it's about way of life, back to normal or new normal, where we investigated and tried to connect what we learn in class with Lego series play modeling. And you can see how different concepts and abstractions that we learn in theoretical ways, in conceptual ways, in our readings and in high-level academic writings can be turned into a playful ground in which students can reflect on their experience in creative and innovative ways. This is just another example, and also you can see that Lego series play is also a very good tool to make connections, to better decipher causalities, interconnections, or connectivities. Here, the idea is to kind of look into the values, especially Islamic values, and how shared resources. Of course, we just don't build them and then say, okay, halas, we are done. But no, there are different ways of modelings and sharing your work with others, in the sense that using design and human-centric design especially is a good tool to establish this connection. Such as this one, for instance, is a very good illustration of the linkages. So this is, in a nutshell, very, very short, very kind of like a small illustration of our program. And I wish we were together in a physical setting, so we could have shared with you in depth with real applications. But for now, I hope that we were able to provide a taste of what our program or what our initiative and students do and what it's composed of. And of course, the best thing to do is to be part of it. And I am really happy that I have a colleague there, Mrs. Sabika, who is part of us. She can also reflect on her experience, both pros and cons, because we know that we are new and we are here to learn. And I really believe in this program, not because I'm the founder, but because I know that it has an impact, already has an impact, and it will have more impact. And we just need to faith in ourselves and in what we do. And we are so grateful to have you today. And with your support and with your interest, inshallah, this program will grow, and it is already something that we are proud of, and it will grow even bigger. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Evren, for that presentation. And it indeed is a very versatile and a really incredible program. You can literally adapt it to any interest that you hold, any cause that you're passionate about, and so on and so forth. So the possibilities are endless. And I truly, truly do believe that, especially after going through 2 terms of the program already. We do have questions coming in, so we can start addressing them. There is a question regarding scholarships and how they work and what does it include. I do see Mrs. Azza on the line, if she would be able to address this question regarding scholarships.
Hi, Sabika. Hi, everyone. So it's regarding the scholarships. Now, College of Islamic Studies, they offer scholarships. In the meantime, what we are asking the students to apply after they receive the admission letter or they've been accepted to the program, they will receive all the information related to the scholarship. It might be 50%, it might be 100%. So it's all coming after they receive the admission letter. But College of Islamic Studies, yes, they offer a scholarship and financial support for all their students.
Thank you, Mrs. Azza. Would you also be able to expand on what does the scholarship include? Because that's also part of the question. If
okay, so
yeah. Qualifies.
Yeah, so it's the scholarship. It covers for the students who are living in Qatar, residents and Qatari. It's usually more of a 50% of the fees of the program. This is all what it covers. It might be more. It depends to the college and their budget and how many students they are accepting. It's also their GPA. All of these related, issues will affect the scholarship. But it's only related to the fees of the program. Students who are applying from overseas or international students, it covers other things like the housing, tickets, all the program fees, but it's limited for a certain number of students from each program of in College of Islamic Studies.
Thank you very much.
May I just add a couple of issues
Sure.
features. So if you're an international student, as my colleague Mrs. Azza indicated, it's all inclusive, right? It's basically a full-time studentship, right? I mean, there's no way out.
Yes.
But if you are a local applicant, non-Qatari or Qatari, I believe Qataris are getting 50% too, or locals are getting 50%, depending on the situation, right? So, but if you get a 50% scholarship, just to let you know that every student right now we have in the program who have 50% scholarship, they are working in research grants, especially the ones that I have been awarded. And no one is actually, all the 50% scholarships are supported. So, which means that if you're a local applicant, and if you come to our program, then you will have a chance to have an opportunity to work in a research grant, which can help you with the rest of your tuition. My word.
Thank you very much, Dr. Evren. That actually leads really nicely to a possible question we could also explore, is what are the different ways that students can be involved in research work, either during the course of their degree or by being involved in other research projects? Maybe you have some examples as well that you could illustrate this.
Sure. That's an excellent question. I really appreciate that. It's an important element. We have, first of all, external grants that faculty members may kind of receive from organizations like UN or World Bank or development banks or research funds. Like here in Qatar, we have Qatar National Research Fund, and on a competitive basis, you can scholars get research grants. So, and they have a chance eventually to hire students, research associates, postdocs in their grants. So what I've been doing in the past 3 years actually is to give an opportunity to our students to work as research assistants during the course of their studies. So far, we had like around 6 students we have done this way, and they were, and one student we were able to get on international scholarship. So it's working effectively. Of course, you cannot rely on this. You need, but all the students that we are getting into the program have strong research skills. But also, it's a matter of like compatibility. So that is why these sessions are important, because you get to learn and understand the research interests and the existing research grants that are available. If you're asking in our program, for instance, there are 2 grants I'm leading right now, and it is possible to provide student research assistantships in these grants, and it's not surprising because it's a very common practice. When I was doing my master's in Canada, I always worked as research assistants, as an assistant, sometimes more than once, thanks to the high cost of living in Canada. So it's a student scholarship is definitely not enough unless you live on streets. But anyways, the sustainable development goals is a very important area, and we have research grants, sustainable development goals education, entrepreneurship related, sustainability, social progress in Qatar and the world, inequalities, gender-based issues, anything that revolves around issues about development in the Muslim world. And I'm using development, human development or social development. If you have interest in these areas, it is very likely that you will get like a scholarship. Scholarship for the rest of your studies. It's a full scholarship. I mean, like, or let's say full tuition waiver, because you are already 50% tuition waiver in that case, and you can get the rest. But if you come to us and say, "Oh, I'm expert in oceanography," so then my hands might be a bit tied, because I don't have any grant on oceanography, but it's a.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Arvin. There's a leading question into that in terms of networking is a really, really important part of development, especially as an academic or a researcher or an activist, an advocate, what have you. So what kind of networking opportunities will be available because of the program, the kind of organizations that you've collaborated with, and so on and so forth? I think that would be really interesting to know.
If you follow some of the newspapers locally, I'm not sure if you're an international student, then maybe it's difficult for you, but if you also look at our website, you can see a series of memorandum of understandings and partnerships between different organizations. Just a few days back, we signed an agreement with, with a Shark Forum. It's one of the leading youth forums in the region, or Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF, part of OIC. So we have a lot of agreements like these. Also, like these agreements are not only for our program, but also they are at the university or college levels. So which means that you have a chance to capitalize on these opportunities. And these opportunities provide, obviously, kind of networking sessions, or also we offer programs like Design Post-COVID Humanity and many other digital schools. We bring different partners. So I think networking is one of our strongest assets that we provide in our program. And your iLab, by the way, is also a form of networking, because in your iLab, what happens is you choose an organization or an area to work in, and then afterwards we connect with that organization. Like our students, some of our students, for instance, chose Islamic Relief in Pakistan, so they went there and they work with them. So we help you with that. Alhamdulillah, our university, our college, our program, our college is led by a fantastic dean who is not only a strong academic, but also who is really a great mind, who knows, who has a really robust understanding of how the world works beyond academia. So that's why we have a clear strategy in terms of networking, collectivizing resources, and at the same time providing these resources to our students. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's really, really interesting, especially how this program helps not only students to benefit from the current associations and connections that you have with all of these amazing organizations, but it also allows, if you are, I know that as a student, if I'm particularly interested in developing a relationship with a particular organization, then this program will help me connect to that organization no matter where it is. So there is huge networking potential as a student of the program. I'd also like to put forward the question, do you need to have an Islamic studies background in order to be part of the Islam and Global Affairs program?
No, you don't have to. I mean, our students right now, they come from diverse backgrounds. Some of them are from sociology or political science, economics, business, design. Even actually one of my students right now who is writing her thesis, she has a PhD in biology. So so no, it's we are interdisciplinary. So you don't have to.
Thank you very much. I think we have a couple of more minutes to go. So it will be, I think, very opportune to also mention some of the alumni that you feel are very are worth mentioning at this point, who have really done something and use this program as a way to leverage themselves forward.
Is it a question?
It's a question. It's a question about potential alumni, actual alumni that you have kept note of because of what they have done after leaving this program.
It will require another hour. One of my students, Qatari students, when she entered the program, she was looking for work and she wasn't able to make up her mind where to go, what to do. And through the course of our program, she found actually amazing work in Qatar Fund for Development. And she went to Geneva, represented Qatar. That is one option. Another option are one of our international students. She was a full-time student. Now she is working full-time with Museum of Islamic Art in their international partnerships. Another student of mine, I already mentioned her. She built a social enterprise with with her colleagues actually. Another student of us actually, she's getting into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Turkey as a researcher. Another student of mine, she has been, she was working in the Ministry of Social Affairs. She had a big promotion after her master's, and she's working on it. Another student that we have, she's applying for a PhD at Oxford because of the program. She during the program, not our program, but our university, our college is a kind of this like amazing opportunity to take few students to Oxford every year, unless there's another COVID, because we missed the opportunity last year. I mean, in 2020. So and she was one of those students who went to Oxford, and she had amazing contacts there, and then she got to learn about the PhD options there, and so it's versatile. Public sector, private sector, top-notch organizations, ministries, building your own. Another student has been hired part-time to work with us in the program, which will inshallah be full-time work. as a research assistant. So I think we are doing quite well given the global economic downturn and all these turbulences and turmoils.
Quite well is an understatement, I think, but very, very true. It would be also, I think, very helpful to know the kind of faculty and adjunct faculty that are involved in teaching the course. What kind of professors and backgrounds can we hope to connect with as a student?
As you know, this is a program that's essentially interdisciplinary. So you see that nature also reflected in our professors as well. For instance, the courses such as humanitarian action or conflict solution, it is being taught by our full-time professor who used to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Sudan, Professor Mustafa Usman El-Amin. So you can see that a professor who was a foreign minister before, not only teaching, but also giving you a lot of practical information, knowledge and wisdom, and who can connect you with a lot of organizations. So it's one. Another professor, Loai Safi, who is coming from a political science background and Islamic studies background. He is teaching Introduction to Islam and Global Affairs and a few other courses. And one element that we tried recently is to also have professors to teach digitally some modules. For instance, we had a professor called Hana Al-Banna from London. She taught a module in our course on faith-based development. So she talked about gender and faith and development-related issues. We had another professor from Jordan, but he's the head of United Nations Environment Programs Faith for Earth Initiative, Dr. Iyad Abu Mugli. He taught a course, a module of a course on Islam and environment. We had another colleague from University of Edinburgh, Khadija Shayal. She also. So my point is, in addition to our existing faculty, we are quite outward looking. Whoever we believe that we can absorb his or her expertise to our students, we never hesitate to approach. And often I believe that rather than one professor teaching one full course, it's a good idea to kind of divide the course into modules and of course connected entities. Like if you are talking about, let's say, faith and development, right? Or if you think about inequalities, you can think of like health, economic, right, social, like right, environmental, gender related, right? So it's very difficult to find one person who can talk about all these. So that is why we are trying to disrupt as much as we can. And even that course, by the way, it's one of our disruptive courses in which we reverse the roles. Students in certain parts of the course, for 3 weeks, students become the teachers and they teach modules in it. So we have to innovate to broaden our imaginations. So that's the motto.
Thank you very much. We also have a question regarding how many students will be accepted in this faculty, but I assume what the prospective student means is in this program.
We aim for 10 to 12. And just so that you know, only 3 of them will be international students, which means that their full scholarship and stipends and full package, you know, as Mrs. Azza El-Affam indicated earlier. And we try 3 or 4 local students, non-Qatari local students, and then we aim for 3 to 4 or 5 Qatari students in Qatar. Because we segregate them because this is the most common way of categorization of our student body: Qatari, non-Qatari local, and international.
Thank you very much, Dr. Erin. I think that's a lot of information about this program. It is truly, truly very enlightening to be part of it. If there are any additional aspects you need to highlight or just wrap up remarks, please share.
I don't have anything left. I think I consumed everything. But if there are more questions, or I shared also under the chat my email, and I think you also shared. And I also shared my Instagram. There are times that I check my Instagram more often than my email. So, anyone feel free to add me and connect with me there. Good luck. Please don't hesitate to ask anything, right? I mean, we are here to support, regardless of whether you become our student or not.
Thank you very much, Dr. Erin. As you've mentioned already, yes, the email address and the Instagram links are also in the chat for you to refer to. And thank you for leading the session today. And thank you, Mrs. Azza, as well, for admission support. And we look forward to receiving some really critical questions and applications. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.